Hello everyone, welcome to Insight AI Brief Gaming.
Before we dive in, please hit that subscribe, like, and share button.
We are jumping into the garden today, folks. Talking all about those brain-hungry undead.
Specifically the ones getting pummeled by pea shooters, yeah.
Exactly. Because our deep dive today is all about Plants vs. Zombies. Replanted. It's finally here. The HD remaster of that, absolute classic 2009 PopCap Tower Defense game. Dropped October 23rd, 2025.
Yeah, a big date. I mean, the original PvZ is 16 years old now. Wild. And this replanted version, it's PopCap Games working with the Lost Pixels.
And the pitch was huge, right? The definitive version.
That was the line, yeah. The idea was take the core game we all love, mix in all the best bits from 16 years of ports, Xbox 360, multiplayer, mobile, QOL stuff, you name it, and then add brand new things on top.
Sounds like a dream for anyone who played the original. I mean, that game was huge. It basically defined casual strategy for a whole generation. People were so hyped for a 4K version.
Pure nostalgia fuel, absolutely. The buzz was mostly super positive leading up to release.
But, I sense a but coming.
Well, yeah, here's where it gets, interesting. Maybe a bit disappointing, actually. We probably wouldn't be doing this deep dive if it all went smoothly. Instead, all that excitement kind of smashed head-on into some pretty consistent criticism. The launch has been buzzing, but not always in a good way. There's controversy, less about the game itself, and more about how they handled the remaster.
Okay, I see that reflected in the scores. Metacritic's got it at 74, mixed or average. That doesn't sound like a home run for a definitive edition.
Not at all. It suggests, if something went wrong strategically, critics are basically saying, hey, the game design is still amazing, timeless even, but they're scratching their heads, sometimes pretty frustrated about the tech choices, the visuals, the audio, some creative decisions too.
So it's like, it has the most stuff, but maybe not the best polish.
That's the paradox, yeah. More content, but with new problems the original 2009 game just didn't have. We really need to dig into that. Maybe start with the basics, the visuals, the tech side. How did an HD update cause such a stir?
Okay, let's do it. The graphics. Everyone expected that 4K upgrade. The big promise, fully remastered visuals, HD, widescreen support, upscaled to 4K. That's the headline feature, isn't it?
It is. And, technically they delivered that. You can play it in 4K. But the way they did it, the implementation, that's where the controversy really kicks in.
How so?
Reviewers, especially the ones who really know the original art style, almost immediately flagged inconsistent quality. It wasn't just about higher resolution, it was about how things looked at that higher resolution, the cleanup job.
Right, and this is where people started suspecting maybe some corners were cut. The idea being they didn't redraw everything by hand.
Exactly. The traditional way, manually retracing every sprite frame by frame is incredibly time-consuming. The suspicion is they skipped that for something faster.
Like AI upscaling.
That's the widespread theory. Now, the publisher denied using generative AI for assets, the usual boilerplate stuff. But critics pointed to visual evidence, odd hiccups, lines that look blurry instead of crisp, backgrounds maybe a bit too smooth, sort of plasticky, clashing with the character sprites, stuff you often see with algorithmic upscaling on older 2D assets.
And didn't some of the original creators comment on this?
They did, yeah, which really adds weight to it. Rich Werner, the original lead artist, said he wasn't asked back, even though he was interested. And Enrique Cortz, the background artist, he publicly said something looked not right in the trailer and wished they'd contacted him to redraw his own work.
Wow, so it's not just a technical complaint, it's about authenticity. Losing that original charm by not involving the creators.
Precisely. You risk losing those little artistic choices that made the original feel right. The result might be higher res, sure, but maybe less. PvZ, less authentic.
And did this disconnect lead to actual bugs? Like technical problems beyond just how it looked?
Oh, absolutely. And not just minor stuff. These were glitches that could mess up your game, especially if you're trying serious runs.
Like what?
Critics listed quite a few. Zombies randomly teleporting forward, skipping over your defenses. That's a big one.
Ouch.
There was Crazy Dave's mallet in his mini-game, apparently floating above his hand. That became a bit of a meme.
Okay.
And probably the worst one, the final boss, Dr. Zomboss on the roof. Sometimes his health bar just wouldn't show up at all.
Wait, the final boss's health bar was missing? That's pretty fundamental QA, isn't it? Sounds like maybe things were rushed to hit that October date.
That was the feeling from some reviews, yeah. A lack of thorough testing. One review mentioned a weird new thing on the roof levels where zombies sort of shimmy through a chimney crack felt like a quick code fix, not a proper rethink of the level.
Okay, so visuals are shaky. What about the sound? You mentioned issues there too.
Yeah, and this one might hurt longtime fans even more. The music. The dynamic music, which was such a key part of the original's atmosphere, it's basically broken and replanted.
Okay, break that down. What made the original music dynamic? Because I remember loving the soundtrack.
Right, it wasn't just background tunes. Laura Shigehara composed it, and notably, she also wasn't invited back. The score was like a feedback system.
How so?
It was incremental. It would start simple, kind of chill, right? But then as more zombies came, or a big wave started, or a gargantua showed up,
The music would build, add layers.
drums would kick in, bass lines, synths. It would crescendo with the action. It built tension, told you things were getting serious, but also had that charm.
Yeah, you learned to listen for it. It told you how much trouble you were in. So what's wrong and replanted?
Well, the sources say the full horde music, the
Yeah.
really intense version, it just plays
Yeah.
constantly, right from the start of the level, even if there are only like 2 basic zombies shuffling along.
Oh, so it loses all that buildup, that ebb and flow.
Completely rips out the atmosphere. One source specifically mentioned the night levels, which should feel tense, a bit spooky. The intensity is just gone. Same calm tune looping while you're getting swarmed. The music itself isn't wrong compositionally, but how it's used. It changes the whole feel, the strategy, the emotion.
And does the new speed up button affect this?
Ah, good point. Yeah, critics noted that too. When you hit the 2.5x speed, the music just speeds up linearly with it. So that already non-dynamic track just sounds frantic and weird, not atmospherically intense.
Man, it sounds like they had the music files, but just didn't replicate the logic behind playing them from the original game.
That's exactly the feeling. It underlines that a definitive version needs more than just shiny graphics. It needs respect for the original design philosophy, including that crucial audio design. Such a shame.
Okay, despite those issues, the graphics, the bugs, the sound you mentioned, they did well with content consolidation and additions.
Yes, absolutely. This is where Replanted starts to really shine and feel less like a rushed job. They did a fantastic job bringing features together and adding new stuff.
Like merging things from different versions?
Exactly. The feature consolidation is pretty seamless. Little quality of life things that were scattered across ports are now all in one place. The biggest one, probably the adventure mode level selector from the mobile version.
Oh, that is huge. I remember playing the original PC GOTY edition, and if you wanted to replay, say, level 4 or 5, you had to start a whole new game, right?
Yep, slog through the first bunch of levels again. Now there's a row of little tombstones on the menu, one for each level you've beaten. Just click and replay instantly. Massive convenience for practice or just fun.
Perfect. Any catches?
One small weird thing reported. Apparently, after you beat the whole adventure mode, some of those individual level graves relock, forcing you back to checkpoints instead. Maybe a minor bug or a leftover code from somewhere. Bit odd.
Okay, but generally a good addition. What about minigames?
Yep, classics like Walnut Bowling, Zombotany, they're all back, and they do look great with the HD polish. But the real stars are the new modes. 2 major single-player additions.
All right, let's hear about them.
First up is Cloudy Day mode. This one got a lot of praise, seemed like the most strategically interesting addition.
Cloudy day. So, weather mechanics.
Pretty much, it's a set of 10 extra adventure levels, not strictly linear, and the main gimmick is, yeah, clouds periodically roll over your lawn.
And when the clouds are there,
Sun stops falling from the sky, and your sunflowers and other sun-producing plants go dormant, they fall asleep.
whoa, okay. That completely changes your resource game. No more just spamming sunflowers early on.
Exactly. You have to rely on stored sun, maybe sun shrooms that work at night or plants that don't need sun. But here's the clever part.
Yeah.
To compensate, while the clouds are covering the lawn, all your plant seed packets cost less sun and they recharge faster.
Oh, interesting. So there's a trade-off. Risk versus reward.
Totally. You have to watch the weather, clouds coming. Do I plant this expensive walnut now or wait a few seconds for the price to drop, hoping the zombies don't break through? It makes you think differently.
What kind of plants become more important then?
Reviewers mention things like puff shrooms, 0 cost, good for holding the line when sun is scarce. Maybe twin sunflowers to maximize output during sunny periods despite their high initial cost. It really makes you reevaluate the whole roster for those 10 levels. Felt very PopCap, very puzzle-like.
Cool. Sounds like a solid addition. What's the other new mode?
That would be the one for the truly dedicated or maybe masochistic. Rest in Peace mode, or RIP mode.
RIP mode. Sounds ominous. Permadeath.
Bingo. It's a simple toggle, but it applies permadeath to the entire adventure mode campaign. Lose one level, doesn't matter if it's 1-1 or the final boss, and boom. Back to the very beginning, 0 progress saved.
Oof. Okay. Is that really a mode, though, or just a super hard difficulty setting?
That's a fair point some critics made. But the argument is that the sheer psychological pressure of a true one-life run transforms how you play so much it feels like a distinct mode. Every single plant counts. No room for error.
And you can combine it with other things?
Yep, because it's just the toggle switch.
Yeah.
So you could, theoretically, turn on RIP mode and play Cloudy Day mode at the same time. The community's already buzzing about that, the ultimate challenge run.
Intense. Any complaints about RIP mode itself?
Mostly just aesthetic ones. Some reviewers felt the purple overlay effect and the dramatic game over visuals when you fail felt a bit over the top. Maybe not quite fitting the usual charming PvZ style. A bit too gamified.
Gotcha. And there was some bonus content, too. Cut stuff.
Yeah, they included levels from the old Limbo page of the original PC Code stuff that was cut before release. Now they're integrated as extra minigames.
Nice. Archival content.
And apparently there's a secret China level on the Great Wall hidden somewhere in the achievements menu. So yeah, some cool and deep cuts were restored.
But back to the controversy. This links to the art thing again, doesn't it?
It does. There's a new art and concept library in the Almanac, which sounds great, pre-production sketches, history. But again, critics pointed out some of that art was featured without involving the original artists.
So it's that same weird paradox. They dig up old code for levels, but don't reach out to the living artists for the art book.
Exactly. Stellar content additions, undeniably. But that lack of consultation or credit just adds to the feeling that maybe the celebration was a bit rushed, not fully honoring the original team.
Okay, let's shift to multiplayer. That was a big deal for the console versions back in the day, right?
Huge deal, yeah. Especially on the Xbox 360 and PS3. Replanted brings those modes over to PC and modern consoles, which is conceptually fantastic.
So what multiplayer modes are included?
2 main ones, both local only, which we'll get to. First is local co-op. 2 players on the same screen, sharing the lawn, fighting the zombies together.
How does that work? Sharing sun?
Yep. Shared sun pool, shared resources. You have to coordinate who plants what, where, across the lanes. Lots of communication needed. And apparently the official description promises 100% more butter.
Huh. A nod to the kernel pulled chaos, I assume. Okay, what's the other mode?
That's local versus the PvP mode. This is where it gets really interesting, almost like a mini RTS.
Player versus player. How?
One player plays as the plants, like normal tower defense. The other player plays as the zombies.
Whoa, you control the zombies.
Yeah. You get brains as currency, and you choose which zombies to send down which lanes, like playing cards.
Yeah.
Bucketheads, pole vaulters, gargantuars. You're actively trying to break the plant player's defense. It was really clever back then.
That sounds awesome. Controlling the horde, countering their strategy.
It was considered a brilliant adaptation of the formula, so having both co-op and a Porpoise versus in the definitive edition sounds like a slam dunk, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's the catch? You said local only was important.
Yeah. Here it is. The single biggest, most universally criticized point by far from reviewers, both co-op and versus, are local multiplayer only. No online play.
Wait, what? Seriously? In a 2025 remaster, no online matchmaking, no playing with friends remotely.
None whatsoever. Couch co-op or versus only. And critics were just baffled. It makes the whole package feel instantly dated, like it's stuck in the past, as one review put it. A relic of 2010, not 2025.
But why? Was there any reason given? Technical issues? Cost?
No official word from the publisher in the sources we saw. Pure speculation is maybe the original console netcode was too messy or expensive to update for modern platforms and servers. Or maybe, just maybe, they fundamentally misjudged what players expect in 2025. Either way, the consensus is clear. Massive missed opportunity, especially for that versus mode.
Yeah, you can imagine online ranked versus play, leaderboards for RIP mode, just easily playing co-op with a friend. Without that, it really limits its appeal as a modern title, doesn't it?
Hugely. It prevents it from being truly definitive in a modern context, keeping it more like a very comprehensive museum piece.
Okay, disappointing on the online front. But there were some definite quality of life wins in single player, right?
Yeah.
Things that did make it better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some undeniable improvements that do make the core game more enjoyable, helping to offset the lack of online.
Like the speed up button.
That's the big one. The Undisputed Champion of QOL editions, borrowed from the mobile versions and PvZ too.
People really wanted that, huh?
Desperately, it lets you speed up the game, up to 2.5x. It's just invaluable for replaying, especially with the level selector. No more slowly grinding through those easy early waves if you're a veteran just wanting to get to the tricky stuff.
And it has a tactical element too, right? Makes later levels more frantic.
It really does. At 2.5x speed, resources come and go faster, zombies move quicker. You have to react much faster. It almost makes it feel like a different, faster-paced strategy game sometimes. Really adds pressure.
What else? Any other QL stuff?
Yeah, some new visual options you can tweak via the Tree of Wisdom, now using clearer toggle switches apparently. Things that might have been hidden hints before are now easier to access. And there's a free retro brown coat zombie skin for everyone, just a little aesthetic bonus.
And the elephant in the room for any EA published game, microtransactions.
Ah, yes. Crucially and thankfully, no microtransactions. Confirmed directly by the publisher.
Really, none at all.
The only extra purchase mention was a retro pea shooter skin tied to pre-orders. That's it. The game is a complete premium package for $19.99, interestingly. The same launch price as the original back in 2009.
That's actually huge. Given the history of the franchise later on,
Yeah.
sticking to a complete non-MTX model for this remaster is a really important decision.
Yeah.
Shows some respect for the original spirit.
Definitely a major positive point, separates it from the mobile sequel's approach.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. It's clearly a complicated release.
One of the most complex we've covered, yeah. So, summarizing the overall appeal, where does Plants vs. Zombies Replanted land?
Well, on one hand, it's going to be basically everything, content-wise. The core game is still great, the consolidated features are welcome, and those new modes, Cloudy Day and RIP mode, sound like genuinely strong strategic additions. It's the most complete version in terms of raw stuff to do.
But on the other hand, the execution is definitely wobbly. You can't ignore the bugs, the inconsistent visuals that hint at shortcuts, that atmosphere-killing, non-dynamic music, and yeah, the elephant in the room. No online multiplayer in 2025. Plus that whole ethical shadow over not involving the original creators.
So who is this really for? Critics seem to suggest maybe for brand new players, especially on something like the Switch, if they never played it before. It's the easiest way to get the most content now.
Right. But for veterans, people who already own a perfectly functional older version, maybe on PC, the new bugs and the lack of online might actually make this feel like a step sideways or maybe even backwards, despite the new molds.
It's like they delivered the list of features everyone wanted, but fumbled the integration and presentation needed for it to feel truly definitive and polished.
Exactly. And it leaves you with that lingering question. If the core gameplay is timeless, but you strip away the modern expectation of online community and competition, does that limit its ability to really connect with a new generation? Something to think about.
Finally, if you found our information useful, you can support the team by buying us a coffee. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.